Good morning. It's sure everything's in focus there. It's July 31st, last day of July, 2021, 2022, whatever year it is. I'm actually starting from the University of Regina today because I just from being out of town on work-related trip with EYES Camp, educating youth in engineering and science. She's been out in Cypress Hills running programming at the observatory out there. So she's coming back this afternoon, and now the car will be here for her to load up when she gets back from camping out there for the last few days. And I'm walking back from here, and the forecast was very clear that there was no rain, and it's sprinkling on me. And I've got an hour walk, so hopefully it doesn't do any more than sprinkling. So go by the education building here. Looks like all that construction they were going along here earlier is been cleared up. This was all blocked off earlier in the summer. Couldn't drive through here or walk through here. Now, last time I was at the university, I went into the green, so I don't think I'll do that on this trip. I will walk along the periphery here. So that's the William Riddell building, which we will walk by here in a second. It's where the student pub is, and food court and university theater that I've performed in many times and been to many performances in. I'm going to follow the shortest route, which will take me through the park. So there'll be a bit of walking along the lake today, I think, or close to it anyway. I might not walk right along it just to be different. Down there is that's Research Drive, so these are kind of research facilities along here of various sorts. And this over here is the Riddell. I'd actually thought the most direct route would be to go that way, but apparently it isn't according to the map. So, and it isn't a good hour walk, whichever. Taking the shortest route is an hour, so I'm not going to stretch it out any more than I have to. Little artwork out here. And over here is the main entrance. The University Theater is right through there, and there's a nice sort of lounge area here with our lobby area, which also has what's called the Shoebox, which is a black box theater named after Morris and Jackie Shumiacher, who were good friends of my wife's family and great philanthropists in the city. So if you go right through there, you go straight into the theater. And this is the Owl, which is the student pub. As you can see, it's very, very quiet on a Sunday morning in the summer here at the university. There are students around, there are summer classes and stuff, and of course there's always professors and such like around, but quite quiet. It's about 17 degrees, so it's a pleasant walking temperature. Only going up to 24 today. Underground parking there for the university. That's where we usually park, because if you come out in a thunderstorm, or if it's the snowstorm, it's freezing cold, it's nice to be under there. University Bookstore is in this next building. College West, this is called. And other things, you can see there's a whole list of things, but the University Bookstore is in there. I started to call it the Hub, but that was my university bookstore. Harding University Bookstore was called the Hub because, well, for obvious reasons. Okay, through there, we take you around the corner to the bookstore. playground. That's not for university students. There's a daycare. So all of that is College West up there. Faculty Club is up there too. Another place I've been many times. We used to use it for opening night receptions when we had shows here at the University Theatre. Scana Cooperative Daycare. In this next building, Innovation Center. I mainly know it because there's another auditorium in there that I've done a presentation in, and there was, and maybe it's been killed by COVID, it probably has been, we had a short-lived animation festival here, anime festival called Anifest. And the first time it was held, it was in there, and I had a table, and even though very small crowd, I was one of very few people with tables, so I actually sold quite a few books. They did it again at the Center of the Arts. It was definitely worth being at, but it died, I think, with COVID, and because it was student run, I imagine everybody that ran it has now graduated, and you know, who knows if there's an anime club anymore at the university. They haven't seen any sign of it coming back anyway. Here's some of the original university building, that one is, I think. Sask Expo, Regina, is coming back though. I'll be at that in pretty short order now, 3 weeks I think, with the table. Whew, it's a lot of work, but always worth it. I usually do okay selling books at those things. And I've got nifty new, sorry to just say snazzy and a nifty, it was going to come out snifty, snifty new wooden bookshelves to display my books on, which is nice. So I'll have my books and also a Shadowpaw Press section, which will have the books that Shadowpaw Press has published, which are not the same necessarily. Branch down over there. And geese. There's always geese. See, I walked over there last time I came this way, along the creek. Morning. But because I'm taking the shortest possible route this time, I won't walk over there. I'll walk this way. Straight up Wascana. I'm hitting this light just wrong. I'll take my chances. So there's the path I was on when I walked this way last time. Down by the creek, it's a bit more scenic, but winds a bit more. Today I'll take the straight and narrow path up here. I say the creek, really the lake. The lake is the creek because it's made by a dam, but it turns into a lake. I really need to get over to Douglas Park on the far side over there. I haven't been there for a long time. It's always a nice place to walk. Oh, there are some cyclists going by, looking scenic. Looking like a tourism video. Bike the pathways of Regina. Only 4 kilometers to Casino Regina. That's right downtown, so if you're wondering what distances are. So basically, university is 5 kilometers from downtown. I would say 4 to 5. Not far at all. I can remember when everything on that boulevard was really tiny. First time I saw it, back in about 70, first time I registered it, back about 79 when I was singing with the, 79? No, 77, singing with the Saskatchewan Honor Choir. There were four of us, four guys, from my dad's chorus at Western Christian College. I was in my first year of university, but I was only high school age. I would have turned 18 after my first year of university, actually, because I was 16 when I graduated from high school. I turned 17 the following month. Is that right? Yeah, that's right. I was 16 when I graduated from high school, turned 17 in the summer after graduation. So I was 17 through my first year of university classes, and then turned 18. So I was 18 when I went to university in the States, but I wasn't a freshman, I was a sophomore. No, I was a junior, actually, depending on how you looked at it. And then it only took me 2.5 years to get my degree, and because some of my classes from up here transferred as college credit. And yeah, that's why I graduated. I was only 20, and I'd only been 20 for 6 months. Started my work at the Weyburn Review as a reporter-photographer. Shortly after that, I had a column, Eddying Thoughts, and also became the editorial cartoonist because I did minor in art, and the editor at the time, what's his name? Anyway, I remember the next guy, Christopher Holland, who was a reporter when I started and then became editor. Anyway, the original guy had ideas for cartoons but couldn't draw them. I said, well, I can draw them. And then for the rest of my time at the Weyburn Review, I did a weekly editorial cartoon. That's Douglas Park over there, that hill I've been up many a time. Some geese who are not using the crosswalk. I did that for 4 years, and then when at the ripe old age of 24, I became news editor. And I edited the Weyburn Review for 4 years. And then I came up here in 1988, and I've been here ever since. My speed is not 26 kilometers an hour. That must have been the bicyclist. So when I think about that, just 6 more years, I will have been up here for 40 years. Already lived here longer than anywhere else. I still think of myself as being from Weyburn. I've already lived here longer than anywhere else I've ever lived. I'm going to cross over here once I get the light. Probably takes me off of quite the absolute shortest route, but I'm trying to vary where I walk a little bit more. Now, that bus is supposed to wait for me. He did. Yeah, so I'm actually stretching it out a bit by coming this way, because I'm not angling quite the same as I would have if I went on down and walked through the park. But whatever. Coming up to where the dentist is, that I was at twice recently. And the first time I came out there, it's quite nice. And first time I came out for my checkup, I actually walked. But second time I drove because I didn't want to be hot and sweaty, sitting in the chair getting a filling done, which is what I did on Thursday. That's Roberts Plaza up there. That's an apartment building. Maybe condos now, I guess. This nice little park area associated with these condos here. Everything's green and lush. We had more rain yesterday. You can see the puddles here and there as I walk along today. See, this probably kind of angled me backwards. So thereby adding a little bit to the walk. I'm going to walk down this side of this street though today. So I don't walk down it very often. And then decide which side of Albert Street I walk down, I guess. Tennis courts. That's all a big condo complex over there too, kind of self-contained, so, gated community, I guess. Not really, because there's not a gate that you have to open and close to get in, but it's all contained within its own fence line. Writing-wise, I hope today, perhaps, to finish rewriting my middle grade fantasy, Fireboy. I have a publisher very interested in it, but they needed some revisions to tone it down a bit. It was too graphic. My agent had urged me to make it more horrific, so I had toned it up a bit, give it some more horror elements, but the publisher that's interested is family friendly, and they thought the scenes of child torture and dead child a little too graphic. So, no children will now be harmed. Well, they'll be harmed, but they won't be killed in the making of the book, of the plot. They're still at threat of death, but nothing is graphically described in the same way it was. Which still was hardly Game of Thrones level, but that would be completely inappropriate for a middle grade book. There's where the dentist is in that Lakeshore Mall there. So that's where I walked to the other day. So I've come this far. Now I will carry on down whatever road this is. Stop. Somebody smashed the window and they're repairing it, is what that looks like. Alright, we will go straight down this way this time, which will take us by Regina Christian School on this side of the street. McKinsey and Wascana Rehab Center. I've walked by them more often than I have down this side. And there's Roberts Plaza. Yeah. 23rd, that's what this street is. I can never remember without thinking about it. Dum-da-dum-da-dum. There we go. I don't know who Roberts was, but he got this plaza named after him. I used to know somebody that lived there. In fact, watched fireworks from up there. I think on the roof one time when I knew somebody that lived there. But she's long gone now. It was many, many years ago. I think it was rental apartments too. I don't know if it's still rental or if it's condo. I don't know. So there's South Wascana over there, which I've walked through more often than down the road here. I mean, because generally it's greener and more pleasant, but just to be different, I'll stick to this side today. More condos over here. presume they're condos anyway. Townhouses, I guess you'd probably call those. It's a very long straight road, 23rd to Albert here. The front of these townhouses goes onto the street on the other side. So this is the back with their garages, and making it easy to pull out into the street and get away. It's always important to have a getaway plan. Line of them here. Tree nurseries over there for the city. La Verendrye Way. Or La Varandri, I don't know how to pronounce it. I guess that would take you to the front of these. I could do that, but I think I'd get trapped if I remember how the roads work back there. I'd have to go way out of my way, so we'll stick here to the straight path. More or less straight. It's not entirely straight. There's a kink in the road right there in front of us, or at least in the sidewalk. I wanted to go over to the park. This is where I would do it, Arboretum Park. But do I want to do that? I've walked over there quite a bit. On the other hand, my sidewalk ends here, so I guess I am going over there. I want to walk down this side with no sidewalk. Okay, well, if I'm coming into the park here, I'll walk in a little ways further. Guess I won't walk in front of Regina Christian School. I'll walk across the street from it, but not directly in front of it. So again, it's called Arboretum Park because that's the city tree farm over there. Well, now that I've ended up coming this way, I think I will just change my plans entirely and walk on down right, so I'm not backtracking as much. And I will end up by the lake, or close to it. However it works out. Anyway, it's because I don't want to backtrack to the left, so I will follow the path to the right. 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 This is a pond. You can tell by the rushes. Like it looks like it is now. There might be water down in the middle that I can't see. Spring melt. Oh yeah, there's water out there now. I can see it in the middle. So it's a pond. It just has a lot of rushes in it that kind of make it hard to see the water. And it depends on how dry it is. Oh, it's quite... Actually, the water comes right up to the edge here. Last year it was, I think, pretty much dry at this time of year. But there has been, as I said, quite a bit of... Yeah, you can see the water continues all the way down here. Way more than last summer when I walked by. I think it was dry as a bone eventually last summer. Don't know why we call bones dry. They're not dry when they're inside you. They're all wet and icky. Like everything else inside you. Big bag of water that you are. Don't take it personally. I'm a big bag of water too. Actually, a big bag of hot air, some people would say. Picnic tables out here. This is very pretty in the autumn and very cold and wintry in the winter. Funny how that works. I can see people are watching. Nobody has said hi. But I know you're there. I get a little number that says how many people are watching at any given time on Facebook and YouTube. And right now it says 2 people on Facebook. Is that what that says? No, nobody on Facebook, but 5 on YouTube. 5 whole people, or possibly half people. I don't know. But 5 could be cats and dogs who accidentally turned on the TV or turned on the computer for all I know. Nope, there's somebody. Biocodex. Good morning. Those look pretty new, actually. I don't remember them being there. I am crossing the same people I just crossed the other way. I was trying to avoid them. I've left the beaten path. Actually, there's not too much water down in here. So the lake is right over there, but I'm not going over to the path because I walked there Friday. I'll stay over here. This will eventually, there'll be a sidewalk along here. Meantime, we'll just walk in the grass. Get glimpses of the lake over there. Grass is wet enough. I'm getting a bit of water on my shoes. There's nobody coming. I'll step back onto the sidewalk, onto the road here. Here's where the sidewalk actually crosses. That'll put me back. Yeah, and this is a path I don't usually take through the park up here, this sidewalk, so I'll stick to it. It's a monument I've very rarely stopped at, so let's take a look at it. I think it's for Centennial, if I remember right. Oh no, it's a Scout Memorial. Be prepared. Somebody has spray painted some of it, of course, because there are so many idiots in the world, but maybe they didn't like their scouting experience. I was never a scout. I wanted to be a scout in the States, but then we got up here, and the scouting in Weyburn, my little town, was very tightly tied to, I think it was the Catholic Church. And I was a Catholic, and it just seemed weird, so I never became a scout. In our town in Texas, it was very much a secular organization with its own clubhouse. But up here, it's quite often, and maybe, but certainly in Weyburn, it was very much tied to churches in the town. Some of the picnic tables available here in Wascana Park. Mushrooms. I try to vary it. Will end up rejoining it momentarily here, path I took before, but I'll still vary it further. This at least takes us by the totem pole. These were placed across Canada to mark the centennial of British Columbia entering Confederation, and then a few years ago it was refurbished. It had suffered over the years. Was repainted and cleaned up and everything by the son of the artist. There you go. Would have been Haida, I believe. So in 1971 it was originally placed there, and then refurbished, as I said, by the artist's son a few years ago. Still some moisture on this path to avoid. Which I can't entirely, because there's the lake. So actually, I can avoid going that way by going this way. Go by the pioneer nurses and school teachers, Catholic sisters who did that sort of thing. What this is for. There's no sidewalk here, but I can walk along the edge again. English is fine. I'm sure it's better than my whatever your native tongue is, which I'm pretty sure I cannot speak at all. So we'll go this way now, avoiding all the people in the park. Powerhouse, or used to be one anyway. I think they used to provide power for the legislative building. I don't know if it's still like an emergency backup for it or not. Not entirely sure. Or perhaps it's a heating plant. That's possible too. In other words, I don't actually know. I've always thought of it as a power plant, and I always thought that's maybe it's actually a heating plant for the building. All right, we'll go down this road, Avenue, confused with Avenue Q, which is the one that's occupied by Muppets in New York, if you know musical theater. Here, we can go up and around the little drive here. There's still no sign that says what it is, but it does have the coat of arms over the door, right there. Some rather fancy lighting fixtures. That's the Saskatchewan coat of arms. This is the Walter Scott building over here. Back of it, government office building, named after the first premier. Now we're walking directly toward the Saskatchewan Legislative Building. You can see the dome a bit above the trees there. This is Avenue B, which we will go down. There's no sidewalk, but there's also unlikely to be any traffic along it. Past the trees, you'll see cars going by in the north-south street through Regina. There's still fruit. Oh, that's fruit on that tree. Berries. Pink. Really a guess. I don't know plants that well. Pretty sure. Regret it if you did. This should take us by the fountain here. Which it is. A nice, pleasant, simple little fountain. Benches around it you can sit on to enjoy it. Eat your lunch or whatever. Go. We're going to go over here. I don't think I've ever looked at this plaque. Let's go see what it says. Or if I have, it was only once. Oh, Alan Blakeney, former premier. I met him. So it's just a little memorial plaque for Alan Blakeney. He was premier shortly after, not right when we came up here, but in the 70s when I was in school, he was the premier. And I think I may have interviewed him once when I was at the Weyburn Review, or spoken to him on the phone or something. It was shortly after I started work at the Weyburn Review that the Grant Devine government swept into power. And was then for the rest of my time as news editor. And then we had, what was his name? I can't believe it. Can't remember his name. Oh. Let's take this little path, because I don't usually go this way. Does it go right to Albert Street? It does. Some more nice benches. And another plaque, which I've never looked at. Woodrow Stanley Lloyd. That is another former premier. It's a little bit of his bio. I guess they must do this throughout the legislative grounds, and there must be others. It's a secret path. Ta-da! We are on Albert Street. And almost at the bridge, which is where I want to cross over anyway. Whenever it makes sense, either here or at the bridge corner. I didn't go by it. The Provincial War Memorial is right there past the trees. Since I came the way I did, I missed it. Green light should get me across here without any trouble, because it's a long green light going Albert way. This is kind of the main road you drive into if you're heading to the legislative building, so hence the flowery displays. And then down there, of course, as it always is the legislative building. Ta-da! Coming into view. I think this light takes a while to change, so I'm going to go on down to the bridge, which changes more often because Regina Avenue, which goes to the left, is a much busier street. It goes out to the airport. This cord keeps clinging to my sweaty arm, and that makes the camera jerk a little bit sometimes. I can fix that little problem. Big old houses there on Albert Street. I've walked by many a time. There's that phrase again. I've used it several times today. Many a time. I understand people who wear masks outdoors, but it's their choice, I guess. She's likely to press the button here, it looks like. Oh, he's going straight. I'll cross over so we can go down the bridge and see if there's any pelicans to be seen. That's Regina Avenue. You go down there, it takes you straight to the airport. Can't walk along the bridge directly here. You have to go because of the left turn there, or the right turn lane there. So you have to come down this side of the balustrade for a little bit. Sorry, missed somebody's note there. Greetings from Mexico. Hola. Which pretty much exhausts my Spanish. I can almost count to 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, something like that. It's very close to French, so it's hard to remember. And I learned that back when I lived in Texas, and my older brother had started taking Spanish in school, which is kind of the second language they teach down there for obvious reasons. And but I hadn't started it yet. And so all I learned was he taught me how to count to 10 and how to say, how are you? ¿Cómo estás? Is that correct? How are you? In French, of course, it's comment allez-vous. Oh, just one lonely pelican down there today. And a lot of rocks covered with pelican poop because they sit on those rocks there. There's a couple of ducks right there where the water's coming over the spillway. Lake is right over there, and the dam that forms it is right beneath our feet, basically. So pelicans like to sit down there because fish gets swept over the spillway. So I came up here and learned French instead, but not very well. I only took it in grade 7 and 8, and I guess I took it through grade 10. Well, actually, I think I took grade 11 French, but that's what did me in. I'd always done pretty good in French. Not fluent by any stretch of the imagination. I had a good accent, I was told. But then I took grade 10 and 11 French in grade 10, and that was a mistake because there was a curriculum shift, which they never should have let me do it at the school. Because the grade 11 French was using an entirely different set of textbooks, and they'd taken a different approach. So I got terrible grades in French, and I'd always gotten pretty good ones in French. And that was enough to make me think, well, I'm not taking French anymore because I don't need it dragging down my average, so I did not take any more French. All right, almost home, as long-time watchers will know. 2 more blocks here. Again, one of my favorite houses to look at. I've never been in it. I just like the looks of it. And over to my left here is Harrington Mews, where Wally Knight lives in my books. Right down there. My Shards of Excalibur series. As I say, real place, fictional house. And the sun's coming out, so I did not get rained on beyond that little bit of spitting just as I set out from the university an hour ago, almost. How long has it actually been? Oh, only 50 minutes. So there you go. I can walk to the University of Regina from here within 45 minutes, probably. Especially if I wasn't using the gimbal and was just walking as fast as I normally do if I'm just trying to get somewhere. I normally drive, obviously, but that's not really that long a walk. People do that all the time in some cities to avoid driving. This is Angus Boulevard. These 2 houses are still for sale if you're looking. Nothing for sale on the other side at the moment, just these 2. I know there's one on Angus Crescent, at least, for sale. And somebody said hi on here a couple of days ago that's moving to Angus Crescent, so they'll be neighbors. Angus Crescent is fairly long, but not hugely long. This is Leopold Crescent, inside which Angus Crescent is nested, so Leopold is the longest one. And then you have Angus. And then there's Connaught, which is only a half crescent because it runs into the Davin School playground up here. That's the school directly ahead of me, where my daughter went to elementary school. like they're putting in a patio or something. We're putting in a deck. I think they're moving faster than ours is. We were hoping to have it by now, and it hasn't even been begun, really. The piles are in, but no actual deck construction has happened yet. And we're doing an extension as well, and the permit is still hasn't quite cleared through the city yet. So, it's always like that with construction. You're told how quickly it's going to happen, and then it never happens that quickly. There's always some problem, or in this case we also had 2 inches of rain, which stopped everything for a week or more. Anyway, hopefully this week they actually start building the deck. Okay, and I'm basically home, so I will stop here. Thanks for walking with me. Tomorrow's Monday, so probably along the creek.